Just yesterday, Activision held their 2018 fourth quarter earnings shareholder meeting, which in the past has been notorious for shedding some light on what's to come in the upcoming year for Call of Duty and other various Activision-related IPs. And yesterday's call was no different in the sense that we got quite a bit of new information regarding Call of Duty 2019, aka Modern Warfare 4, from it. What's up guys, Zachary Immortal here, welcome back to the channel, thanks for stopping by. Today we're jumping back into the world of Call of Duty to take a look at everything that we know about Modern Warfare 4 and Call of Duty 2019 as a title, as the season of teases, leaks, and reveals is hot on the horizon. Now the first thing that this shareholders meeting confirmed is that Call of Duty 2019 is in fact being developed by Infinity Ward. Of course though, we already knew that, but they do confirm it every year regardless. Obviously, in the past, Infinity Ward has developed some of the most iconic titles in Call of Duty history, for instance Modern Warfare 1, 2, and 3, and also Call of Duty Ghosts and Infinite Warfare on top of that. Now, during this meeting, Activision's CEO claimed that COD 2019 is quote-unquote rooted in franchise history, and that they have really high expectations for the game. Now, just off of this statement alone, we can infer two potential outcomes for COD 2019. One, that COD 2019 is not going to be a new installment to the franchise because it is rooted in franchise history and thus has ties to a previous Infinity Ward installment. Or two, that because it is rooted in franchise history, it'll likely contain some certain core elements of classic Call of Duty, including a boots-on-the-ground gameplay style. Which one is correct? Well, that's really up for interpretation. In all honesty, it could be both, but we're gonna have to read on for the time being. We'll circle back to this info in just a moment, but continuing on for now, within this meeting, Activision President Rob Kostich also stated that COD 2019 will have an entirely new campaign, a huge and expansive multiplayer world, and some fun co-op gameplay. The full statement that Kostich issued reads, "And then if I look even further ahead to what Dennis mentioned, it's worth mentioning again that this fall's launch, I think, is going to resonate very powerfully within our community. It is an amazing game. It's going to feature an entirely new campaign, a huge and expansive multiplayer world, and of course, some fun co-op gameplay. But from day one, what really gets me excited is every time we've shown this title internally, it creates a ton of buzz. Now, I wish I could tell you more right now, but unfortunately, you're gonna have to wait. But I think it's really worth it. We cannot wait to share it with the world." So the highlights from this statement really lie with the focus around the game's components, that being an entirely new campaign, a huge and expansive multiplayer world, and the co-op gameplay as well. Out of this, obviously, we now have a confirmation that COD 2019 will indeed feature a campaign, although Kostich specifically described it as a new campaign, so that does kind of have me wondering if that means COD 2019 is actually going to be a new installment to the franchise, or if this new campaign is just going to follow a different set of characters from a previous Infinity Ward title. As far as multiplayer goes, once again, we do have to decipher through the cryptic description of a huge and expansive multiplayer world. This definitely sounds promising, but what exactly does huge mean? Is huge defined by the player number, or the map count, or the number of levels and prestiges there'll be? Here we simply don't know, but to me, huge is most likely referring to a player count. But once again, huge can have a lot of different interpretations. 18 could potentially be a huge number for multiplayer compared to recent games which feature 5v5 or 6v6 in MP and not 9v9 ground war modes like what we've had in the past. Huge could also mean 100 players, which would indicate another Battle Royale mode being added into the COD franchise. Yet again, however, there is no conclusive details that point towards one direction or the other, so we're gonna have to table this for now. Finally, out of that statement, Kostich references fun co-op gameplay. This could be anything from the return of Spec Ops, like what we saw back in Modern Warfare 2, to zombies, to extinction, to even an entirely new mode. Unfortunately, here only time will tell, but out of this so far, we do know that COD 2019 will 100% feature at least 3 different modes, potentially even 4 if Battle Royale ends up being included in there too. A little bit later into the meeting, Activision CEO Bobby Kotick also chimed into the conversation and added, quote, "You know, when you look over the last decade of Call of Duty content, I think that Rob is really underselling what the internal enthusiasm is like. I haven't seen this much enthusiasm that I can remember almost ever, so we're really excited about the fall release of Call of Duty content." End quote. I think it is definitely reassuring that there's already a lot of excitement and hype stemming from Infinity Ward internally, and hopefully this means the game is going to launch feeling a little bit more polished and complete than Black Ops 4 did. I should also mention that a fall release date has been mentioned twice now. This is yet another thing we already sort of knew, as COD always launches in the fall, but no specific date ended up popping up in conversation here, so whether it's an October or a November launch, your guess is as good as mine. Now, circling back to our first bit of content, I think that out of everything that came from this shareholders call, the fact that we know COD 2019 is quote-unquote rooted in franchise history, and the fact that it has an entirely new campaign kind of muddies the water a little bit as far as direct confirmation goes. Going into this meeting, the majority of the community assumed COD 2019 was in fact going to be Modern Warfare 4, simply because it would make the most sense from a business standpoint, and there were also a lot of leaks and rumors pointing towards MW4 being the most likely outcome for this year's game. But really, with the vague detailing of the game outside of it just being generally hyped up internally, I think all this shareholder meeting did for me was actually raise some doubt about Call of Duty 2019 actually being Modern Warfare 4. Truly, I do still think that COD 2019 will end up being Modern Warfare 4, but I'll definitely admit, this meeting and some of the quotes taken from it certainly spice up the conversation in terms of other possibilities. Looking into the months ahead though, we're actually hot on the heels of the tease/leak/reveal season, as typically the springtime is initially when the big leaks will start happening, and then as we approach late spring and early summer, the teases will begin to pop up, ultimately leading up to the big reveal sometime around April or May, maybe even at the latest June, with E3 landing there normally. With that being said though, that effectively wraps up today's video. If you guys enjoyed, let me know by dropping a like on it, as it does really help out the channel. And of course, if you guys are new around here, feel free to subscribe with your notifications turned on. That way you can stay up to date with all the latest Call of Duty news and intel. Once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.